placed us, oh God, in this earth to expand the earth, to make the earth great. And Father, right now we ask that you stir our hearts, that you stir our spirit. Let us capture, oh God, the tenacity, the courage, the bravery of our ancestors. So, Father, as we inhale, we know that their spirit is still permeating throughout this universe. So, Father, as we partake of the spirit of our ancestors that have done magnificent and marvelous and great things. And Master, we have those who are in this room who have led the charge for centuries, and we thank you for them. Father, we thank you that greatness is sitting among us, and we recognize these great leaders that have poured their heart out over time. But now, Father, as we embrace this present moment and the future of this nation,
the Black History Month,
we ask for courage, we ask for power, we ask for your wisdom.
Right now you are,
and we ask, oh God, you impregnate us with the magnificent mind of leadership that will galvanize this nation. In the name of Christ, we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. I want to introduce Chardonnay Beaver, who will be the co-MC. And I think we
are getting underway. This is the 7th annual.
This is no other than Mr. Eddie Wright Jr. I don't think he needs an introduction. I mean, Mr. MLK Way, Mr. Making a Way for Black and Brown people, the youth's favorite OG, Mr. Eddie Wright.
Several awards.
We are your co-MCs tonight. It's a privilege and honor to be with you guys. Thank you for coming out on this Monday evening. Feels like a morning, huh? So we're gonna move along.
It's Eddie Wright and Chardonnay.
First and foremost, we're going to bring along Miss Josephine Howell, who also needs no introduction.
Josephine Howell, I guess, will be gifting us with song as we start this occasion.
And she's going to sing Lift Every Voice.
To Rainier Avenue Radio. .world in our broadcast.
Can we all rise?
Of the Black History Month Awards.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we try, bitter the chastening ride, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. For we have come over a way that the tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out of the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the bright gleams of a bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on our way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of this world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. So let us turn till victory is won.
Josephine Howe, with
The
an
incomparable, the
edition
one and only,
of the
Josephine Howe.
Black
I want to
National
introduce
Anthem. Let
Hayward
every
Evans,
voice
the
sing.
co-convener, the MLK CC, Martin Luther King.
And
Yeah.
the introduction of Hayward
So-
Evans, co-convener
Okay.
at the MLK-CC Black History Month event.
I just want
And we're going to take it up to Eddie Rye.
Take a couple of minutes. My father, Eddie Rye Sr., was assigned by A. Philip Randolph to be a Northwest organizer for the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the only union that a black man could belong to in those days. And the family followed up here in 1952. That's a long time ago. I'm 82, but I don't have gray hair because I have some black dye. So, but anyway, but you know, A. Philip Randolph was also instrumental in organizing the 1963 March on Washington, D.C., where Dr. King gave his I Have a Dream speech. He was one to organize and even go in the 40s about the rights for black folks. So we have a number of people who are not going to be here. Jesse Weinberry missed his plane. And we have Michael Wu will not be here, but his better half is here, Marie Carosa. And so I just want to let everybody know. And then we do have representatives from A. Philip Randolph. Is that right, Guy? Okay, so if we don't see your president in a minute, we'll have you accept the award for him as well, okay? So now that I did all that, I would like to have my favorite daughter come forward, Angela T. Rye, I told her that President Shalee had been sick, and so she said she would come in and do for us. She's multi-talented, as you well know. Thank you very much, Angela Wright. Please give her a welcome. Thank you.
So he says, favorite daughter, I'm the only daughter. But I just want to be clear because sometimes we have boundary issues. So I did not say I was coming to give a speech. I said I would do Q&A, right? Okay. So, all right, that's great. So Q&A, questions and answers. We're living in really precarious times. And I think one of, since we're in the church, the tricks of the enemy is to make us feel isolated and alone, paranoid, stressed, anxiety, all these head nods. Y'all agree with that, right? Like that's what's starting, you wake up in the morning just feeling all kinds of trepidation about what type of headline you're going to read today. You're starting to see federal funding for programs. How many of you all work in the nonprofit space? So federal funding impacts nonprofits. Some of you may be retired government workers or still working for the government on the state, local, or federal level. Those resources are being impacted. And if y'all are like me at all, I hate to say I told you so, but I be right a lot. And the most frustrating thing that I think a lot of us are dealing with is we knew exactly what this era was going to look like. Some of it is something that we have, I think, especially for Black folks, ancestral memory. Maybe some of you all have heard about that, where something doesn't sit right in your spirit. You can feel the discomfort. You can feel the angst. You may not have borne witness to a situation yourself, but because it's in your bloodline and it impacted us ancestrally, we can feel some of that even coming up right now. So my thought was, in order for us to build community and build upon the very strong foundation of a Black community that we have in this community, it was important for us to just engage. It's not me talking at you. Maybe somebody just wants to vent and share what's on their heart. And together in this room, we can collaborate on resource, on problem solving, on making sure that we know we're not alone. If we stay in the battle together, we will win. We will win. No, you say it again. You say it for me. All right. So some of that, go ahead. Keep going. Yes, sir. Well, and so yes, sir. Reverend Seals. Do we have another mic, Dad? What we gonna do Q&A with only one mic? What about this one? Does this work? You want to give me that one? Okay. All right. Did that work?
Okay. So
All right. Angela, you have the national mic and the national tentacles across this nation in the ears of a lot of people. My concern and my interest is, have you heard, or why isn't the nation leaders crying loudly regarding what's actually going on? It seems like I'm not everywhere. You pretty much got your tentacles everywhere. Maybe and you can answer the question. Why is it that no one is sounding the alarm? Back during the Nixon administration, that there was a swell within the people because the same thing was taking place then. Why there isn't a groundswell as of now. It seemed like they just sitting back waiting for something big to blow before the people are galvanized.
You
I
know,
know there was a lot there.
no, but I hear what you're saying. I think, thank you. I think that what is actually happening is there are a number of folks at the national level, particularly my old bosses where I'm partial, the Congressional Black Caucus, saying a lot. And all of what they're doing is being drowned out by the craziness that's coming out of the administration. So Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Congressman Maxwell Frost, Congressman Bobby Scott, Congressman Ted Lieu, they were all, Congresswoman Latifah Simon, all outside of the Department of Education last Thursday. Is that last Thursday? I think it was last Thursday. It's so much happening now. It's been 27 days and I feel like I'm drinking out of a fire hose. But they were outside of the Department of Education. People responded to seeing part of Maxwell's video and said, well, why didn't y'all just go around that little scrawny white man? Well, why didn't y'all throw a brick through the window? What he said, he came on our podcast and he said, actually, if it was just him, we would have went right around him. There were way more of us than there were him. But on the other side of the door, you couldn't see because the windows were tinted. It was armed Homeland Security officers behind him. If they would have thrown a brick, somebody would have caught a case. And in this environment, at the federal level, who do you want going to jail on your behalf when they may not be bailed out? Because if this administration continues to defy court orders, Donald Trump tweeted today or yesterday, no law can be broken when a man seeks to save his country. So if that is what we're up against, what are we really asking of these people? What is their most reasonable service? To me, it is calling attention to what is going on, but that means it's incumbent upon all of us not just to pay attention to the headlines on CNN or MSNBC or Fox. You have to go to see what their press releases are. What are they saying on their Twitter feeds or on their Facebook accounts, on their videos? You have to go and do more work. It is tedious. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm tired. But what I've been trying not to do, because I was calling members yelling like, wait, what y'all doing? You know, and then I'm like, they were like, you didn't just see this? You didn't just see this? And I'm like, oh, I'm relying on the news to curate what I need to see. We're not in that era anymore. There was let me give you this as another example. We're not just at war with the Trump administration. I'm also attribute this to me because this, I believe, is a nonprofit entity. We don't want it to be sacrificed, given this dude just accessed all your IRS data today. I digress. So if we're in this era where the freedom of the press is under attack, freedom of assembly is under attack, freedom to protest on behalf of what is in your best interest is under attack. It's not DEI or diversity, equity, and inclusion under attack. It is the 14th Amendment. And the outgrowth of that is the 1964 Civil Rights Act and all of those protections. That is what's really under attack. If that is the case, our battle isn't with the members of Congress that think like us. The battle is with the outlets that should be telling us the truth. But instead, they're doing things like there was an ad buy in the Washington Post that they just reneged on for a Fire Elon Musk campaign. We're up against the truth in outlets that we have historically relied upon to tell us the facts, to give us the facts. That's not what they're doing anymore. These are the same outlets that when their editorial boards wanted to endorse Kamala Harris for president, all pulled back. Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, was one of them that trumped that opinion, that editorial board opinion. So there's that. I think I answered more than what Pastor Seals asked me to answer. Yes, sir.
Whatever should we be looking at, beyond MSNBC and CNN and whatnot, the nightly news?
Shameless plug. Thanks, Reverend Seal. We have Native Land Pod as our podcast. We have my friend Joy Reid has a show every night on MSNBC where she really does deep dive into what's going on. I think what is going to be harder is you all will actually need to go to members of Congress who you support, who you know think like you, go to their websites and to their YouTube to see their press conferences, to see what they're actually saying. Don't let anybody curate your news and sound bites for you. They are clipping content to make people sound like they're saying one thing that they're not saying. So you really have got to pay more attention. I would say, what else? So I talked about Joy Reid. There is, yeah, I'm not gonna give you too many more than that. It's not a lot of folks I listen to. And Reverend Seals already said that. My other dad back there said that already. Did said Native Land Pot as well. Yes, sir.
As you were talking about the nonprofit arena, how can we galvanize here in the state of Washington, because we know that he's attacking this state? What is a strategy that you think that we can work with to come against that? Because we have a lot of nonprofits here and that relied on that income coming this way. What can we do to galvanize to help combat that?
Yeah, so it depends on the issue, but what I would say to you first is, again, not allowing anyone to curate your news for you. You should look at what Attorney General Nick Brown is doing. He's taken on a lot of what the Trump administration has thrown at Washington State. I was surprised, sorry if there's any Bob Ferguson staff in here, I was surprised to see him step out there and say that he was going to combat a lot of what Donald Trump was doing as well. He said he would look for things that they could work together on, but they were going to be fighting back because a third of Washington State's budget comes from the feds. A third. So that means a lot of indirect, you guys may not even know, if you get state-based funding, some of that may also be compromised here. So in terms of fighting back, one of the things that I think is so important, and I was just looking at this again around Dr. King's holiday, when he wrote the letter from the Birmingham jail, he talks about the process to getting to a boycott. Before you get to a boycott, you have to have a list of demands. So in order to have a list of demands, you have to understand what the attack is, how far reaching that attack is, and then how to respond. That's your demands. So a lot of times we're like, what do we do? We're scrambling like that because we're not informed. I'm not saying not you, but everybody, we have to be very clear on where we're being hit, on what is to come. And they gave us a guidebook. It is 900 something pages. It's Project 2025. In fact, you know what? There's a website that my friend was circulating today called Project 2025. I'm gonna get this right for you because this will help you if you don't want to read 900 pages. I understand. Project2025.observer. And on that website, it lays out how far along they are. So they have overall progress. There are 293 items. There are 81 that are done and 39 in progress. USAID has 6 core objectives, and of those 6 core objectives, including, I'm just going to give this to you guys as an example. Cut budget of USAID, completed. Rescind USAID policies that address climate change and help countries transition away from fossil fuels, completed. Cut international disaster assistance funding for programs in Yemen, Syria, and Afghanistan, completed. Eliminate chief diversity officer at USAID, remove DEI requirements, eliminate funding for partners that promote discriminatory DEI practices, completed. This is the last completed. Prohibit USAID from funding sexual reproductive health and reproductive rights and gender equality programs, completed. And then they have one more that's in process. What is the point of this? If you can see where they're going, you have a better sense of what your demand should look like. You know that you're on the chopping block. They laid it out for you in this document. If you're impacted by these things at all, you got to pay attention to whether if OMB gets hit, how does that impact you? If you are a part of, if you're working for a contractor, all these highway projects right now, the moment they go to Department of Transportation to freeze anything, any infrastructure project is at risk. If you work for a construction company, at risk. So I'm saying be clear about what is at stake. Everybody's going to be hit one way or another. And everybody want to talk about eggs. Eggs got the bird flu now.
Audio.
And RFK is not about to stop it. We can't even understand what RFK is talking about. He sounds sick himself. They nominated this man. He ate the eggs. Maybe that's what it was. Yes, sir.
So when you guys drive down the freeways here,
Who's it? Oh,
they're doing the expansions of I-5 and 405. do you ever look over, see who's working on those jobs? Do they look like you? Okay, don't you see something wrong with that? That's our tax dollars there. Okay, most of the contractors here, he is a big. Yeah, I've been following this man for years in the labor industry here about getting these jobs into our community here. And I'm gonna let Eddie go ahead and finish up here. Eddie.
My name is Angela. My dad just called me my mom's name. Hi, Mom. Dad's always thinking of you. Said, go ahead, Andrea. Dad. Don't confess to no crimes today. As an attorney, not yours. I just said, let's just move along over this way. But we, yes, okay. Got it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so just in the spirit of respect for everybody in here and the spirit that's rising up in you, there are other people who the spirit is rising up in, and I'm gonna just finish my thought. Yes, but I need you to allow me now to. Okay, thank you. Okay, there was another question back here. Yes, ma'am.
I'm so glad that you are here so that I can ask you this question. So January 6th happened and it was mind-boggling. So now we have, and there were no Homeland Security with guns standing there preventing the entry into the Capitol. How is it now happening that we're being prevented from entering buildings where they worked? And then there's guns behind the door. So I would love to hear what your perspective is about that January 6th versus what's occurring now. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for clarification, January 6, 2021 is where there was an insurrection that was on Capitol Hill at the Capitol building.
Right.
There were officers that were armed. They are United States Capitol Police, and then the DC police were also brought in to help support with what was a white people riot. Now, when you're talking about why there are armed guards at different department agencies where legislators have every responsibility to oversee the work, they're at an all access entrance, and why that's being blocked off, that's the question you have to ask your president, Elon Musk. I don't know why that is the case, but they have redirected resources at the behest of this South African man who is not actually constitutionally able to run for president. Nonetheless, he is acting as the president. He's making Donald Trump look silly in his office as his kid runs around and they do all kinds of nonsense. But Donald Trump that day, just last week, when Elon Musk was in his office for his first press conference, gave him more authority to do more of what he's doing with a fake department that has not been enacted by law, but rather vis-a-vis a very highly subjective and an abuse of power executive action, the Department of Government Efficiency. That is no department, in fact. So I can't tell you why. What I can say is there are no surprises when this man, who was indicted 88 times over, at first it was 91, they dropped a few. I'm not surprised that he's acting lawless. He's always been lawless. That's white privilege in the making. So if there are no, okay, yes,
Here we
sir.
go. But before I ask you what I want to ask you, Mrs. Rye. Your second father has another question. And I want to give the mic to him.
Okay.
In perspective of the possibility of tragic situation occurring across this country, since we have the firefighters here, can they give us some highlights of things that perhaps, Clarence, that we could put in place in terms of preparation? Because I just feel in my spirit that something is getting ready to go down that's going to affect us. And in the South, we always had a pantry that could carry us for over a year of food. So are we looking at or reading the tea leaves that's taking place in this country? I don't know, Clarence, you want to say anything regarding that?
Welcome to attend, because it's too voluminous and too many things to just talk about in a setting like this. But there are a lot of things that we need to be aware of that will make you more efficient and better prepared for any type of emergency, not just Donald Trump.
And Reverend Seals asked for the date.
Oh, it's not set yet, but I got to clear this with my pastor.
There's a question.
All right, but before we get to that one, let's take mine. Before I get to two questions. So as you quite well said, President Musk said DEI stands for didn't earn it. Therefore, he felt obligated to try to strip that from us and so forth. While I was back, had a chance to go to Jimmy Carter's funeral. And after that, I went to the Capitol, and me and Sister Maxine Waters sat down, talked, ate, and so forth. So she allowed me to come up to the seats where you sit and watch them vote on different things. While she was sitting there, she came over to where I was and said something to me from the floor. The guard or the police officer behind me said, "You can't talk to her. She's a Democrat." And I looked back at him, I said, "And so what? What does that mean?" "Well, Trump's going to run all you guys out of here." And, I'm back in DC. You just talk about going to federal charge on Capitol grounds. I decided to use some sense that your father had been trying to teach me for 40 years and get up and walk away. When I went downstairs, I told her what happened. Her and I both went back upstairs to confront this guy, and he said, "Yes, you're getting ready to be out of here too." And I looked and I said, let's just, it's better to say there you go than there you lay, because after all, they had the guns on them and so forth. And that's what we're dealing with in the Capitol right now and so forth. And this is a flat out abomination that we as American people can't express our own values and opinions, worried about what these clowns are trying to do and so forth. But I like your father said this morning, we need to have something in our house, in our closets, to protect us, because I'd rather die like this than live like that. Believe that. Angela, should I go to these people? Who's next? All right. All right.
Donald Trump, life represents American life. You want to hear the truth? What is going on has been going on. We always cover things. I always say the white supremacists and Christian nationalists are my best friends and worst enemies. A known enemy is better than an unknown friend. A white supremacist will tell you, "I'll kill you. If you want to die, let them kill you." They'll tell you what they are going to do because they believe they're in command. The other side, you never know where they stand. All these things have been going on, but we always lie about things. All the just wars we fought, they're always right. Then when they analyze it, we were on the wrong. What happened? 9/11. Saudi Arabian people were responsible. Who bear the brunt of the punishment? Iraq and Afghanistan. Now you are trying to wake up. It is too late. It is too late. You've reached the end of the course because America dictates everything. When you have humans playing this role of God, this is what happens. America has the leadership of the world, and they are leading and ruining the world. And you at the end, now you are getting feedback or the backlash of what you did to the rest of the world. Now you're doing it to Americans. Did you hear Trump say the reason why they want to take over Gaza? We already promised. We know where all the bombs are. We are going to clean
Ma'am.
So
Yes, I understand. I just want to end here. I think in family space, it's okay to disagree. So I disagree with you. It's not too late. It will be too late if we continue to watch everything that's going on and we wait for somebody to tell us what to do. We talked about ancestral memory earlier. There's the traumatic side of that, but there's also something that we can honor in this month. They're trying to take from us, resilience. And so I dare you to tap into your resilience, into your faith, and know that it's not actually over, that we have the power within our hands, within the community. Do not allow yourself to feel isolated in this moment. If there's something you don't know, there's somebody in this very safe space that knows, or is a phone call away or a stone's throw away from the answer. We can find what we need in ourselves in this moment, but we have to fight back. That is our most reasonable service. So with that,
Yeah. Thank you, my daughter Angela Rye, for just, Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay.
All right, we're going to thank you for that. And we're going to transition on to Chandler Williams. And then we're going to lead into our awards. But first, after Chandler, we'll have a succession of Mr. Chris Bailey, who will be presenting an award. So thank you.
You're listening to the Black History Month Awards 2025 right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. World African Americans and Labor, advancing worker rights for social, racial, and economic justice. We're going to go to Chandler right now.
Hallelujah. Reminding you guys, I'm a transition on, but I want to remind everyone this is a spiritual battle as much as it is a natural battle. So we have to also fight in prayer, knowledge and prayer. Prayer changes destinies, okay? Hallelujah. Okay, so we're going to transition on to Mr. Chris Bailey, who will be presenting the award of the Mona Bailey Education Advocate. Come on down, Mr. Bailey. Thank you. Welcome him, everyone. Welcome, our brother.
Good evening. It is an honor that Eddie, you've made this award available, and that we're here to celebrate Black History Month by recognizing my mom and actually keeping her legacy alive in this award. My mom was a leader, pillar of the community, an educator. She meant many things to many people. One of the fondest things I can remember from her was how she always used to end her speeches. And she'd end it with a two-sentence phrase, which went like this. If you know it, say it along with me. It was, if not you, who? If not now, when? The spirit of those two sentences is embodied in this year's recipient of the award. This person is embodied by the highest level of dedication and exceptional leadership to advance educational opportunities in the construction trades. Would you please give a warm welcome to this year's recipient of the award, Reverend Lawrence R. Willis.
And Pastor Willis receives the Mona Bailey Education Advocate Award. You can see Pastor Willis display at the Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum in the history of faith and religion in the Black
I want to
community.
give all praises to God, because if it had not been for him, I wouldn't be here today. I want to thank God for my wife that allows me to do the things that I do in the community, because if it wasn't for her being by my side, I wouldn't be able to serve the community the way that I do. And the saying is, beside every man, there's a good woman, not behind. Beside every man. And so I want to thank my wife. But not only that, I have family here today. And without family, that's our biggest resource that we have, is our family. And I'm honored today to have a young man here that I want to be an example to, because we have to show our young people which way to go. Because as Angela was saying earlier, so many people they're blinded to what's happening. And we have to open the eyes to our young people. So Tierra, thank you for coming and being with me today. Amen. His mom's here, my niece. We have the church. Just give it up for the church. The church has always been the pillar of the community. And so I want to thank the New Direction Church members for being here today. All of you that are here today, thank you for coming and supporting me as the pastor. But the award today is about educating young men and women into construction. And today I have two of the instructors that work in the program, and I'd like them to stand because they're the ones that help train our young people. Will you stand up, Abdul and David, and just let them know who are they? These are the instructors of the program. As a matter of fact, Abdul was in a pre-apprenticeship program that I ran. He stuck by me. He wanted to know the trade, and from that, now he has his own contractor's license and is a contractor right now. But it all started with a man that's sitting right in front of him, and that is Guy Ashley. Guy Stan. Guy was my apprenticeship trainer when I came through construction. So Guy, I always want to give you honor for taking time out. Yes, you did. You taught all of us. And it's good to be able to have those that can give back to the community. And so I just want to thank all of you that are here today and all those that are being awarded today. God bless you. I thank God for you. And I'm very humbled today to be able to receive this award. God bless you.
And the legendary Keystone Fly Right, everybody.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio, and right now the recipient of the Mona Bailey Education Advocate Award, Lawrence Willis, Pastor Lawrence Willis.
Pioneers,
And Eddie will not let you be, whenever Eddie's in the room with you and he knows you, he's going to definitely recognize you. So I love you, Eddie.
Thank you, sir. I
thank
appreciate
you for
that.
your personality. I thank you for your leadership. And I know you love the Lord.
I sure do. Thank you very much, sir. Pastor, appreciate you. Now, we got so many people sick tonight, but I tell you right now, we would like to have, is there a treasurer of A. Philip Randolph in the room? Come forward, sir.
We will continue with this MLKCC, the Martin Luther King
Guy Ashley is a diligent worker. Gabriel Prawl headed up
Commemoration
the
Committee.
African American Legislative today down in Olympia. They might be holding him hostage. I don't know. He didn't make it up here. We want to make sure that he is receiving the Larry Gossett Servant of the People Award. Guy is in the trenches right with him, along with his wife. Stand up, ma'am. I mean, they are true servants of the people, including our people. Okay, so you have to make sure you keep that in mind. So, Guy, I want you to take this on behalf of Gabriel and A. Philip Randolph, and we'll have a quick little flick here, and you can have a couple of minutes after we take this picture. Why don't you let's take the flick first? We hold that. I'll hold.
So right
that.
now, the
Okay,
recipient, Gabriel Prawl, is not here, but the award for the Larry Gossett Servant of the People Award is given.
Guy, you want to have a word or two?
Yeah, I just want to say that so many people do not know the value of what Asa Philip Randolph contributed to the movement. He was not just the organizer of the March on Washington, but he was instrumental in desegregating the Army. He was actually the vice president of the AFL-CIO. He started the first African-American trade union and is credited with being the founder of the black middle class. So he's my hero.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, guy. One more time for Josephine, and then we got 2 more awards, and we'll be done, y'all. Okay.
Miss Josephine Howell, everybody. Can we give her a round of applause as she makes her way up? And did anyone see her in Black Nativity last year? Anybody? Anybody? We'll make sure you're there this year, okay? December.
Thank you. Good to see you. How many of y'all ready to work? How many of y'all ready to lock arms with somebody else? How many of y'all ready to do your studies and to find out everything that you need to find out? It's okay to say that I don't know, but it's even better for you to just go ahead and research and do it. The Bible tells you to study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth. So, but you cannot do this without God. So, God is able. God is able. God is able, and he won't fail. Tell me who can make a mountain move out of my way, and who can tell the clouds to roll back so that the sun can look at me, and who can tell the wind to whistle in the trees. And when I'm in trouble, who's that same God that will come down and rescue me? God is able. God is able. God is able, and he won't fail. No, he won't fail. He won't fail. So don't you dare give up. Don't you dare give in. God won't able. God is able. God is able. Oh, my people, he can't. My people, he can't. My people, he won't fail. He can't fail.
Thank you so much. As always here.
Mr. Claude Perfect is on his way from the MLK Labor Committee. There we go. Thank you. Give him a round of applause, Mr. Perfect. He'll be introducing the Thais Scott and Beverly Sims Labor Award. Good to see you.
Good evening, folks. I have a special lady here today that I really would like to give this award to, or present this award to her. Her name is Shawnee Wheeler. But before I do that, I would like to say just a few things about Shawnee Wheeler. Shawnee is the Deputy Secretary Treasurer of the Martin Luther King Labor Council. This Labor Council oversees over 100,000 union workers. Also, with 15 plus years and experience, Shawnee has navigated the wild political and legislative directorship for Teamsters and Joint Council 28 and IBEW Local 77, ensuring workers' voices echo in every legislative chamber and campaign trails from Washington to Alaska. And Audre Lorde, believer, she knows justice is never a single issue fight. Beyond MLK labor, she is the Secretary Treasurer of Labor Council of the Latin American Latinx and BIPOC worker rights. Her dedication has not gone unnoticed, earning her accolades such as the Barbara Liddy Teamsters Women Activist Award and the Elsie Schrader Award for advancing women leadership in the labor movement. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, my labor teammate, Shawnee Wheeler.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good evening, brothers, sisters, and siblings. My name is Shawnee Wheeler. I use she, her pronouns, and I would like to thank the committee for this recognition. Thank you to Brother Claude Burfect and Brother Kevin Allen, who I've looked up to their leadership for so many years. To my family, who have all supported me and sacrificed so much of my time to be able to do what I do. And then a special recognition for someone who wasn't able to come today. There's my uncle, David Wheeler, and this man is the reason that I'm here today. He is a Metro Union lineman. And when I was young, I would page him to bring me a Happy Meal. And he would pull up in his Metro line truck, crew and all, on Rainier Avenue, just to bring me my fries. He would let me touch the buttons, play with the wheel, doing things, and I don't believe he believed in child labor laws. And that is where I learned what a union was before I even knew what a union was. Through him, I saw firsthand what it meant for workers to have power, dignity, and a voice on the job. And we all know our labor movement and our community have been bound together forever through struggle, through sacrifice, by the unshakable belief that we actually deserve so much more than we are offered. And right now, we know that there are powers that be who want to roll back the clock, to reverse the things that we fought for at the table, to take away collective bargaining, and to gut the very existence of who we are and making us fight separate battles and just being exhausted. They want us to believe that we can't win, but we know better. We've seen what happens when we stand together. We've built power, we've changed laws, we've pulled families out of poverty, and we can do that all again. Brother Scott often said, there's no separate peace. Solidarity isn't just a word that we throw out in speeches. Solidarity means that our power isn't in their boardrooms. Our power is not in their boardrooms. It is in our hands and in our voices. And each and every one of us can do this. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm what you would call a quiet leader. I do not like to be in the spotlight or in front of a room. But when your purpose pulls you beyond your comfort zone, you have no choice but to step into it. And I would love to let you know that I am so deeply honored to be recognized by so many I've respected, learned from, and watched from the back of a room. Thank you.
Next, we have Harley Bird and Michael Wu. Michael Wu's sick, but his better half, Marie Carosa, is here. Could you guys please come up? I'll let Harley tell you about the United Construction Workers Association. They're receiving the Dr. Maxine Mims Changemaker Award because in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they were closing down jobs left and right because they would not allow blacks to be in the building trade unions. So Harley Bird and Marie Carosa, please step forward. Can we get the two plaques, please? And we have the last award is going to retired black firefighters that trying to get the house back on 23rd and Pike. The people sold it, didn't pay for it. The people up here paid for it. But anyway, okay. This is Marie Carosa and Harley Bird. Where are you going, Charlie?
How much time? Do I have an hour? Oh, I really appreciate this award. I know that Tyree Scott appreciated it. He was a person that I met in 1969 that really changed my life. And when you look around and you see young blacks, minorities, and women in the construction industry now, he's the guy who you got to thank. Okay. When we started United Construction Workers Association, out of 5,000 labor unions, Teamsters, electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, heavy equipment operators, out of 5,000, there was only 5 people of color. Only 5. Okay. And we started with a group much smaller than this room right now. And we grew. We grew to the point of we turned out 3,000 people on Broadway, Central Community College. You know, we closed down the airport. We closed down University of Washington Hospital, University of Washington Library construction at the time, I believe, until we got the attention. When we got the attention, we were invited to the table. You know, and the rest is history. So I accept this award on his behalf, because he was indeed my brother. Thank you.
We have some words from Marie Carosa.
I'm not Michael Wu, but so when I was 15, my first job was at Central Area Motivation Program when Mr. Eddie Rye was executive director. And down on another floor, there was this organization called United Construction Workers Association. And it was Tyree and Harley Bird and Todd Hawkins and Michael Wu, who were old guys back then. I ended up marrying the old guy, but back then, but those, Shawnee, exactly what you said. It's about no separate peace. Now more than ever, it's about coming together because we have got to fight. We have got to have a voice. But we got to do it in partnership because we cannot be separated. We can't let them divide us. So just thank you to Eddie, who led the charge against redlining and all the work he's done over the years. But it's the visionaries like Eddie and Tyree and Harley and all those that actually made this progress. We got to go back to that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Harley. Appreciate it.
Okay, so for our last awardees of the night, it is a great pleasure and honor to recognize the Northwest Association of Retired Black Firefighters. Give them a round of applause. If anything I've learned through watching their efforts these last 3 years, a little over 3 years, but beyond my lifetime, perseverance in the fire. And that's the character we're going to have to get through these times. Perseverance in the fire. So I want to welcome them up. You see them here in their red, some in the red, some not. Please come on down to the stage. Everybody. I think it's so powerful to see this representation. Come on down. Some of them have their families here. We welcome them on the stage. Come on down. Wow.
Oh, oh, we got to move the picture. Come on the. Hey, Claude, come on over. Yeah.
Come in close, everyone.
So we got to go for diets. You talking to Cordell?
Oh, don't let me.
Right.
It is my pleasure on behalf of all of these gentlemen you see behind me, no sisters here today, but nevertheless, we'd like to first of all thank the committee for giving us this award and considering what we have done over the past 40 years and more. We are very honored to have served the community. We saw that we were getting the Norm Rice Award for service. And that's what we're about in the fire service, is providing services throughout the city and throughout the nation. And we wanted to make sure that you saw the first Black fire chief from the city of Seattle, Claude Harris, the first firefighter, the first Black firefighter, the first Black lieutenant, the first Black captain, and the first Black fire chief. And he would also tell you it is because of the work that these guys and that all of us have done to propel him to this position. The city of Seattle has been honored to have had African-American firefighter leadership throughout its history since Claude Harris. Claude was the first, and after that we had Gregory Dean, who was also our second Black fire chief. But in between that, we had Don Taylor, who was the interim fire chief for a minute. He's standing right here beside us. And right now we have Chief Harold Scoggins, who's an African-American, who is the fire chief now. So we have great leadership in the fire service, and we've done tremendous work. And this organization has done tremendous work throughout the community. And because of Reverend Seals' question, I already sent a message out to my executive board. And we're gonna not only talk about emergency preparedness at our church, but we wanna do it throughout the community. So we can bring something to the community that you can use and that can be beneficial to everybody as we go through some difficult days ahead. So we thank you, and we wanna just say one more thing, that Eddie Rye did an excellent job at Camp Firehouse when he was the president of camp. Our organization, the Seattle Black Firefighters, was meeting at camp, holding our annual meetings. I was the treasurer of the board at that time, but we were meeting at camp. And because we were meeting and we wanted to meet at different times than the building was open, we decided that we wanted to buy our own building. So we did that back in the 70s. And we've had a few misguided persons who have taken over the organization. Only 2 or 3. It's not all African American firefighters. It's 2 or 3 that decided that they wanted to just get rid of the building that was tax-free, worth about $1.2 million. And they sold it for $680. But we think the courts are going to reverse that on the 25th. Y'all pray for that, so that we can rightfully take back the property that we all have purchased and make it a museum and a community point of view. So we left camp and we bought our own building, and that is the building why Eddie Wright, we made him an honorary firefighter, and he wears his jacket with pride. So we thank you, and thank you for this award.
We got to have a word from the first Black firefighter.
A word. See, they're saying a word from me because I talk a lot. I'm 91 and a half years old. It's time for the younger group to talk. We had one young man in here who's a Black firefighter active. He's a battalion chief, and I just want to say I'm proud of these guys, but I'm proud of all the guys that have taken over as we have left. So thank all of you for coming. Thank all of you for supporting us, and we'll see you down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. So we're going to have a benediction. Benediction. Okay, okay. Got it, commercial here.
Yeah, one more time for the Black firefighters. Incredible. So I just want to share for y'all who came earlier, you might have saw me outside in the front. Last year, I published my first book along with my journal. I have a few available if you'd like to connect with me after today's event to purchase, connect, create community connection. Otherwise, we're going to move forward with a benediction. Again, my name is Chardonnay Beaver, and this is Mr. Eddie Wright Jr., and we're so grateful to be your moderators tonight. Thank you.
Reverend Seals. Oh, this whole event has been carried by Rainier Avenue Radio, Tony B and the crew back there. And so a lot of folks will be able to participate in this event this evening. And will this be archived on the website, sir? It will be website, so it will be archived on the website, so you can see it later. Oh, well, Fly Right Productions, Butch Harrison, Josephine Howell, and Chandler Williams. Thank y'all very much. Mr. Butler here, stand up, Mr. Butler. He organized the whole thing for the church. Give him a hand. And we found out tonight his wife and my sister Sally over here both worked at Zion Preparatory Academy. So anyway, so we have some connectivity in the room. So at this time, we're going to have Pastor Willie Seals Jr. do a benediction, and we'll be on our way. And thank y'all much for being here.
At this time, could we get Chandler or Josephine to sing Reach Out and Touch, lead us in that song? They both gone? Okay. Butch, okay, Butch, all right. Shall we stand? Would you repeat after me? I'm ready to embrace the challenge that is before us now. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, to the only wise God, our Savior, be dominion, power, now and forever. And we all said, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Seal. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
And there you
Once
have it.
again, this program will be archived on Rainier Avenue Radio, so you can see it again. People that missed it can see it.
Yes, you will be able to watch this entire program available on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, and
Yeah, here.
there we have it again. The Black History Month Awards 2025. African Americans Labor Advancing Worker Rights, Social, Racial, and Economic Justice. Chardonnay Beaver and Eddie Rye, your host. Awards were presented tonight. Two of the awardees, Pastor Willis and the Black Firefighters Association, have exhibits in our Call to Conscience studio. Excuse me, our Call to Conscience Museum. So please take this opportunity before the month ends to visit the Call to Conscience Museum and see 12 excellent exhibits and installations that chronicle the history of African Americans in Seattle. We may see if we can grab a couple folks for interviews before we depart. Still going. We're live on Rainier Avenue Radio .world. As I mentioned before, the Black History Month Awards put on by the Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration Committee. Pastor Seal. And Pastor Seal's microphone. There we go. Are we on it?
I can hear myself.
Can you maybe just put this a little bit? No, keep it on like that. There we go. Let's see where we're at now.
Okay.
Okay. Can we get a little more volume on Pastor Seal's microphone? Let's see where we're at now. Can you hear me?
Pastor Willie C. Seals Jr.
All right.
S-E-A-L-S.
S-E-A-L-S.
Right.
I want to talk a little bit about the awards ceremony and why events like this are critical and if they are critical and important to our community.
Yes, it is important. A biblical principle throughout Scripture, God always told His people to him in remembrance of Easter. As they was crossing the Red Sea, they had to lay markers of stone. There was memorial stones. And events like this become memorial stones in our community to remind many people. And sometimes we do have to be reminded of things that have taken place in our nation, in this country, and those that have laid the foundation, those individuals who have made sacrifice in their times and their lives to make sure that the coming generation life will be better. So we give a shout out to the Godfather of the city, Eddie Ryan, to Haywood Evans, for their faithfulness to the cause of community awareness.
And thank you for your contribution tonight. And I do want to give you the opportunity. Again, folks have had at this point seen the whole thing. They'll be able to go back and see it again. Any words that you would like to share? There were a lot of things discussed today, the times that we are facing, again, the resilience of our community and those who received awards for work that they have done in our community in the past. Anything that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to bring this subject up of awareness, reading the tea leaves of the nation. Sometimes we get so consumed with one event, then another event come along, and we forget about what has taken place the day before, the moment before. But the awareness of self-preservation, I think, is so important now, that as we see what is taking place across this nation and even in the community, where is the family at regarding their awareness and consciousness of if something major happened in this city, do we have things in place? Do we have plans in place that we have checks and balances just within the family structure to make sure and ensuring their awareness and their safety? And I think that's something that we need to take to heart and focus our attention on and preparing ourselves in those areas.
And do you have any advice that you'd like to share quickly? I know that's a big thing, that folks, things that they can do right now.
Yes. You know, I shared this with my congregation a couple of weeks ago. The state of Washington have some information on their website, some good things regarding protocol in terms of preparation of things that they can do. So I encourage everyone to pull up the state of Washington, go to the state of Washington website and look up their protocol. And there's many items on the checklist that if the power goes out for a length of time, do you have enough batteries, enough candles? Do you have ways and means to cook food? You know, most of us have little grills, barbecue grills, and that's mostly for reserved for the summertime. But do we have those items kept on hand in reference to being able to do things? And also, it's important to keep a little cash on you, because if things go awry, you don't have access to the bank or even to put gas in your car, because most of those things is ran by electricity. And that's something that I think need to prick our conscious mind in terms of taking under consideration.
All right. Well, thank you for that advice and sharing that with our community, and thank you for your contributions.
Hey, thank you for having me. God bless you.
My pleasure. Pastor Seals
of the Christ Spirit Church, Beacon Hill South. Thank you.
Right. Is there a website?
Yes.
Go ahead, tell us.
The ChristSpiritChurch.org.
ChristSpiritChurch.org.
The ChristSpiritChurch.org. And also, let me give a plug for our food bank. We have a food bank every Thursday at noon, from noon to 2 o'clock. So please feel free to come by and help yourself to our food pantry.
All right.
All right. Bless you now. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We got to get you and your church the last 2 weeks we have this month in our museum so that folks can find out your history.
Okay.
And be aware of it.
Okay, let me give you a little history. Now, we are the former the Cherry Hill Baptist Church, located on 22nd and Cherry. We sold that property 7 years ago, moved to Beacon Hill. but we still have property also still on Cherry. So that's a little history about the church.
All right. Get us some stuff.
Okay, all right. Bless you, man.
Thank you. Rainier Avenue Radio World. It's me, Tony B. Again, just sharing a little information with you. Sharing a little information with you on with Pastor Seals and his church. We'll try and get that information to you as well. Mr. Rye, would you like to come see a few minutes? Would you like to come see a few minutes? All right, I'm going to have Mr. Eddie Rye Jr. joining me very shortly.
That's pretty good for an impromptu.
All right. Once again, my guest joining me here, Mr. Eddie Rye Jr. Mr. Rye, thank you for joining me. Let's talk about this award ceremony and why you think it is important to continue the tradition of honoring members of our community. We'll start with that.
I think it's really important when a lot of people give up their time, exhibit leadership, run the risk of not being liked because they are standing on principle. And it's important to recognize those people who are making those contributions in our community.
What do you think is the path forward for people like yourself who have passion, who have the energy, but are facing times that we haven't seen before, just like you face times that we haven't seen before? What do you have to say in regards to resilience?
Well, you know, the thing about it is that if you haven't got a clue from what's happening in Washington, D.C. right now with the current administration, everyone has to recommit to the struggle. Everybody, regardless of your age, if you have an understanding, and if you have younger people, you need to let them know what the risks are with the way this administration is going. I mean, we're talking about an administration that's willing to take food out of poor babies' mouths, about medical care, about being concerned about poor and disadvantaged people around the world. So when you see these cuts being made like this, just draconian, thousands of government employees. I mean, you know, these people have been in these jobs 20, 30 years. They know how to make the government work. All of a sudden, just because somebody can do it, but once again, the American people voted for Donald Trump.
You know, in one of our exhibits, I talk about the Seattle Black Panther Party and the fact that Elmer and Aaron were 18 and 19 when they started that revolutionary. For someone out there now, who is that age? And times are different, and sometimes the social times require different things from different people. What would you say to someone that age about making an impact and what they can do to progress this forward?
Well, I really rely on people like my daughter's age, Angela Rye. She connects with them a lot better than I do. I'm one of them OGs who's still committed, but she has a podcast. It's called Native Land Pod with Tiffany Cross and Andrew Gillum. They've been nominated for a NAACP Image Award this weekend. But you know, just the people that we have to pass information on. We have to let people really understand what's being coming out of Washington, D.C. And I was down in Olympia earlier today for African American Legislative Day. There were thousands of people down there protesting everything that's happening out of Washington, D.C. So we have to stay committed, stay dedicated, and really have to be doubly dedicated because we have atrocities coming our way. Project 2025 was mentioned on July 31st at New Beginnings Christian Fellowship. Pastor Leslie Braxton hosted a town hall on Project 2025, which Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland, Congressman Adam Smith participated, along with other people. And everybody knew what the playbook was. There's no surprises coming out of President Donald J. Trump, because he told everybody before he was elected what he was going to do. And he's doing that right now. So some people are being, well, I don't understand how this is happening. He told you what was going to happen. It's happening. Now we have to be able to make sure that we get our stuff together, make sure we continue to advance, not lose our rights, because the next thing you know, our civil rights will be under attack. And, you know, it's been a long time because they're talking about making changes to the Constitution. So we really have some serious issues to deal with.
Just a couple more things really quickly. I have to ask you to give a shout out to your co-convener, Hayward Evans, who's always behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah. I try to get Hayward up there. He does so much work. He's truly a dedicated servant of the people. And I really appreciate working with him. That's primarily because Hayward does most of the work. So, but he is really committed, dedicated to acknowledging people who are making a difference in our community. And I share that passion with him.
And, of course, an opportunity for you to say final words to our audience before we sign off here. Anything that you'd like, Mr.
I would like to say, keep the faith. Don't give up. Don't look beyond the headlines in the newspapers. Follow folks like Maxine Waters, what they're saying. Follow the Congressional Black Caucus. Follow people like President of the NAACP, Derek Johnson. Follow locally, Michelle Berryweather. Follow Attorney Shalice Seacrest Anderson, who is an area conference president of the NAACP for Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. Those are the folks that we have to follow. Those are the people who are in the front line of civil rights. And I have to give Michelle Merriweather a shout out to the Urban League. They're doing fantastic things, as well as she saw some of the members of the clergy here tonight. They are dedicated and committed to making sure we don't lose our rights, because they are at stake.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you very much, Tony B.
Appreciate you.
So the people can see this whole program later?
The whole program.
Okay, so what do they have to do to see the whole program?
They can go, the easiest thing to do would be to go to the YouTube page, because a lot of people have YouTube. Some people don't do Facebook.
Okay.
Let's go to Rainier Avenue Radio.world and it's punch in MLKCC 7th Annual.
Thank you very much, sir.
Or, yeah, any form of that MLKCC, it'll pop right up.
We certainly appreciate it, because people need to hear what happened, transpired here this evening. Hopefully a lot of folks watching online, and if they didn't get a chance to see it, I'll let them know on Urban Forum Northwest, when I do my radio program on Thursday, that they can go to Rainier Avenue. And I understand I'll also be announcing and having you on to talk about your museum at the theater, Columbia City Theater. One of the only Black-owned theaters in America. Tony B, the main guy.
And so, again, if you're out there, the number of LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, these are all different ways that you can access the format. I'm just saying YouTube because a lot of people have YouTube, and it's easy to sign up for YouTube. So we switch over to YouTube, and I'll send you that link.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
All right, now.
All right. You've been listening to Rainier Avenue Radio and our broadcast live here from the Holgate Church. I think that's the best way to wrap this up with the Mr. Eddie Rye, along with his co-convener, Hayward Evans, sharing information with you. Again, congratulations to all of those who won awards. And again, very proudly, we are happy to say that Pastor Willis, who won an award, his church is in the Call to Conscience Museum, along with the Black Firefighters Association. And there's also the Seattle Black Panther Party. History of faith and religion in the African American community. The church that we're in, Holgate, is also featured in that particular exhibit. Quincy Jones Memorial Exhibit, the only place that you will be able to see the piano that Quincy Jones touched at the age of 10, that in his words changed the course of his life. Every cell in his body said after he touched that key that on the piano, that he knew what he wanted to do with the rest of his life, and the rest is history. That's it. That's all the time I have. That's it for Tony B. For Daniel Bellis and everyone at Rainier Avenue Radio and all those who participated today. Remember, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you probably right. I'm out.